rather than this evening. And thank you for the opportunity to speak to the mayor in his absence and the city council. Beautiful people of Prairie, beautiful city. I want to call your attention to, especially the council, to items 5 and 6 on the agenda. As a member, a director of the economic development will be, I've had some interesting questions concerning zoning, and it's not clear as we meet and rezone different areas. Lately, I'll just give you some examples, because that's a good example. He submitted an application for rezoning to put in a bread and breakfast. And interesting question about, will that area be rezoned so that if someone wanted to open up a similar kind of bread and breakfast, will they have to go through the same process that he's going through, or is it a zone there? And if it is a zone, does it include my house? Or, I mean, what are the boundaries or the parameters of when you rezone? How do you define the parameters of that new zone, or if you're changing it? So I've had, like I said, interesting inquiries of me. I don't have an answer. I'm the kind of person that I like to read, and I'll go to the manual and read, and what I'm reading is not consistent with what's happening. So I need to be clear. I need clarification on that point, and specifically on the zoning for the bread and breakfast. Where does it start? Where does it stop? And I guess these other places too, because it's all the same thing. So if you will, please get that to me in writing, the answer to my question. And that's it. Congratulations to everybody, and we're going to continue to make this city even better than it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, number 1, consider and take action for the approval of the meeting minutes for the regular city council meeting on April the 9th, 2018.
Madam
Yes, Councilman.
I move that we approve meeting minutes for regular city council meeting on April 9th, 2018.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second. Are you ready for a question?
Question.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it.
I thought you muted me.
What do you ask for?
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, now, item number 2, canvass and acceptance of May 5th, 2018 general election. For mayor, candidates, Brian E. Rowland, Valda Jean Combs, David Allen. Brian E. Rowland, votes received 196. Valda Jean Combs, votes received 183. David Allen, votes received 275. Council member position 4, candidates, Antonius Brown, Kendall Chalk, Wendy Williams. Antonius Brown, votes received 150. Kendall Chalk, votes received 220. Wendy Williams, votes received 281. Council member position number 5, candidates, Ms. Paulette Matthews Barnett and Exante Wallace. Paulette Matthews, votes received 258. Exante Wallace, votes received 387.
We need to vote on the ordinance, council.
Madam Mayor,
Do I need to read the whole ordinance?
we vote to accept the canvassing.
Okay.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, sir, Councilman Ray.
I move that we accept the canvassing of the May 5th, 2018 general election.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second. Are you ready for the question?
I'm ready. If you could just make sure my name is corrected, it's R-O-W-L-E-N-D. For the record.
Any other unreadness? Ready for a question? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Where's the first? Okay. All right, number 3, discussion and possible action in regards to ordinance 2018-0414 of the city of Prairie, declaring the results of the general election held on May 5th, 2018 for the purpose of electing a mayor and 2 city council members positions 4 and 5.
On the ordinance that you have in front of you, there are a few technical changes I just want to point out. So if you have it in front of you, I'll tell you what they are. It should say under the section says, be it resolved by the city council of the city of Prairie View, Texas. It should say, be it ordained rather than resolved. So I'm going to change the word resolved to ordained. We will correct the spelling in section 2 of Councilmember Rowland's last name. Section, there's 2 subsection 3s, so the last subsection 3 will change to subsection 4. And it will say passed, approved, and adopted, not passed, approved, and resolved. Okay, change that.
And we'll get a copy of the finalized.
Yes.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Councilman
I move that we accept, ordinance 2018-0414, the city of Prairie declaring the result of the general election held May 5th, 2018 for the purpose of electing the mayor and 2 city council members, position 4 and 5 with necessary corrections.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, number 4.
Please stand here.
They said they're not coming.
So is that about that 11 days, or is it just because it's a particular day? We don't have the date now?
But it won't be till June?
It shouldn't be that long.
It won't be that long.
Do you know, Ms. Vicky?
As soon as I get with Exante, Mr. Wallace, Councilman Wallace, new elect Councilman Wallace, we'll set a date, and if he wants to do a private ceremony, however he feels he wants to do it. Is that okay?
All right, number 4. Troop 1906 Merit Badge, Citizenship in the Community. Councilman Rowland.
Good afternoon, good evening. This is a special opportunity where we get to recognize some of the scouts that we have here in this community, some of the young men that we've been working with for some time. So if I could get the members of Troop 1906 to come to the front. So as they're coming, I could tell you what they have to do. There are 21 required merit badges for you to become an Eagle Scout. One of the required merit badges is called Community Citizenship in the Community. They worked on this merit badge in the month of April in the city of Prairie View. And they have to go over 7 different tasks. You had City Councilman Kendrick Jones, and you had Municipal Judge Miss Marion Jackson help with this particular merit badge. To get to teach a specific class, you have to become what is called a merit badge counselor. And so I wanted to, one of the requirements for this badge was that they attend a city council meeting, a school board meeting, or some type of official meeting. So because they have to get involved with the community. And so I want them to introduce themselves, give your age, and some information about what you in your rank to the citizens of the city of Prairie View.
My name is Tyree Skeen. I'm a Life Scout in Troop 1906. I'm in the 12th grade, and I'm currently working towards my Eagle Scout. That's the highest level of scouting. And right now I'm in the middle of working on my Eagle Scout project, which is going out and repainting the fire hydrants and putting on the blue reflectors to make the fire hydrants more noticeable to fire hydrants.
Hi, I'm Akofo Jackson. I'm a Star Scout for Troop 1906. I'm currently working on my Life Scout, which is, after that, I'll become an Eagle Scout, which then I will start working on my Eagle project.
I'm Shay Jackson.
Oh,
How old are
I'm 16, I'm in the 10th grade.
I'm Shay Jackson. I'm 18 years old, and I already finished my Eagle Scout project. I'm waiting for confirmation from it. Right now, I'm a Light Scout until they say otherwise. And I go to Waller High School. I'm in 12th grade. Go graduate this year.
Hi, I'm Raymond Garcia, and I'm in 9th grade, and I'm a tenderfoot. I recently joined like at least 2 years ago, maybe. But I mean, it's really been fun. All the things that we've done so far, and like the ranks and the canoery, of course. It was really blessed. It's been a blast. So.
Hi, I'm Zach Garcia. I'm a tenderfoot too. School I started late. I go to Waller High School. I'm 17, 10th grade.
All right, so part of their this merit badge that they're earning, there's citizenship in the world, citizenship in the nation, and citizenship in the community. So they're learning all aspects of level of government. Again, thank you for allowing them to come to this meeting, which is the culmination of what they needed for this merit badge, that is a required merit badge for Eagle Scout. Again, I would like to recognize Mr. Freddie Roberts, who is also one of the Scout leaders here in the community, and we have a parent who's here with us, so she needs to be recognized because her son, who is, I think he talked about his Eagle Scout project next Saturday. He's working on this Eagle Scout project here in the community. He is leading the project as far for his Eagle project. So if you want to come out, please talk to him, and he'll guide you and direct you on what he needs you to do. Because I think he briefly talked about the project. So again, this is what's going on here currently in our community. We have other scouts, and so if you know of any young men or any young people who want to get involved, please, we meet here on the first and third Wednesday. Mr. Roberts, do you have anything?
And I also want to extend an invitation to everyone to come out on Wednesday at 6:30 at St. Francis of Assisi in the Parish Hall. These young men will receive their formal presentation of their merit badges and also the recognition of their ranks in the Scout. Because 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are promotable, and they'll get those get their ranks when they get to the meeting. Thank you.
Did anybody have any questions? Of them, again, part of them having to come to the meeting was to see how local government operates. And so if any of you have a question for them, right now would be this time, and if not, then they will be able to take their seats. Make sure y'all grab an agenda.
Oh, you know I have to ask y'all. You know this. Starting with the Garcias. What is it so for, have you all gone to the school board meeting? Yeah.
One or the other.
When you go, oh, okay. So when you come to the city council meetings, and like you're here tonight, what is it, tell me one thing that you want to gain from being here tonight? And you can go first since you shy.
Knowledge of what's going on in the Prairie community.
Very good.
Like, I guess like seeing the different changes that they'll make here, and like, you know, being more like having more knowledge about what's going on around.
Okay, two Jackson young men. What is it that you, from being a scout, tell me, other than the projects that you're working on your own as a citizen here, tell me one thing that you want to do to make the city better. And I'll start with the oldest one, the one that's graduated. And going to Prairie.
Yes, well, also what I've learned over the years, basically, doing highway cleanups, is that it's basically cleaning the streets of Prairie View. Because even just cleaning the trash, people see that and they will contribute even if they're not in the Boy Scouts or nothing, just to make make Prairie View clean. Yeah, I see.
Well, I like to fall back on what he said. There are some places in Prairie View that aren't that clean. Like, people will just walk by and then not clean up, like, on the streets mostly. There's a lot of litter, and sometimes we have, like, activities where we go out there and pick up, but it would be a lot of help if we could get more people to help us out with those.
And Tyrese, you're the last, and I'm gonna make your question real easy. Mr. Jackson said it would be good to get more people out to help you guys clean up the city. Tell me one thing you can do. You're in 12th grade now and probably getting ready to leave. You going into 12th grade or you
I'm
finished?
graduating from.
Okay, so between now and the time you leave, tell us one thing that you can do to get more citizens of Prairie View involved in helping us to clean the city.
Only thing you could do is going out and making flyers and just posting them around, like at the post office where people go a lot to see those flyers, or on campus somewhere.
Good, very good, very bright.
We have 3 sets of brothers. We're missing one, but we do have 3 sets of brothers, which is very interesting. You had a question and then we'll be done, Ms.
Yes, I would like to know if you've been to more than one government group, regardless of what it is, what do you see as the difference?
Well, the way they attack, like, the problems they have, like, I see more people on the stand than this most of the time, but they handle it well. They all together handle it well. They communicate very well with each other, and I hope to pull that forth into our meetings as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Agenda. I think they're on the outside. And again, their court of honor is this Wednesday at 6:30 at St. Francis of Assisi. Thank you.
Okay, so we now have departmental reports. Administration, Ms. Dickens. Anything?
I just wanted to briefly mention that, and I don't know if you see that I put a holiday schedule up because the next meeting is scheduled on the 28th, which falls on Memorial Day, so the city will be closed. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that the city's closed on the 28th. Also, the mayor asked me to let everyone know that he is, and you have this in front of you also, just so the citizens know. This is to the mayor from Sylvia Spangler. It says, "I enjoyed so meeting you at the S&CC meeting in Kansas City," which is the Smart Cities meeting. "I am David Corman, who you also met, have a review panel on the 15th, May the 15th and 16th here in Alexandria. I would love to have you as a reviewer with your distinctive perspective. We cover travel, of course, and you could choose your preferences. Please let me know if it fits into your calendar." So that's where our mayor is tonight. I spoke to him earlier. He is reviewing an NSF, National Science Foundation grant. So he did find that information out. So, are there any other questions regarding election for me? And as we stated before, I want to get with Mr. Wallace, and we will do a private ceremony when it fits your schedule. I just know that you were graduating, so you had a busy schedule coming up. So, or if you want to do it at the next meeting, however you want to do that. We'll fit your schedule.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of his swearing in, what about our body as far as moving forward? So we have another meeting for this month,
No, the 28th is actually Memorial Day,
so we cancel that.
so we wouldn't have a
So
meeting.
we have a meeting in June.
So the next meeting would be the June, does anyone have a calendar? I think it's June
A
the...
month from now, June, well, yeah.
It's up to him if he wants to do a private and invite council to come, then absolutely we can do that, and we can do it here in Chambers, or I know that he has probably family that wants to come also.
The only reason I'm asking is not on necessarily his swearing in, but we have a sitting city council person who we want to make sure that she gets the recognition. So it has nothing to do with his swearing in,
Okay.
but more of just how the body transitions in and out.
Right.
Do we have a plan on how that's gonna happen?
I haven't spoken to Ms. Matthews Barnett, but we can absolutely do that, and I'd love to recognize her service for the city. So we can absolutely do that also. Any more questions? And on another note, did the chief ask you to speak for him, Sergeant, or just, the chief and the judge are at an emergency management meeting this week, just so that you know they're out too, they're on conference. Okay?
Thank you. Mr. Jenkins?
Good evening to the Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, and the department heads, citizens of the great city of Prairie, and friends of the area. And I guess just for my own information, the new council member is, how you doing? And your name is, again?
Exante Wallace.
Exante Wallace. Okay,
Yes,
I'm Mr. Johnson. I'm your financial consultant.
Yes, sir.
Glad to meet you, Don. Okay. We're in our 6th month of the current year, halfway there. I did pass out tonight a City of Prairie financial and a 4B financial. I will have to admit on the 4B financial, in my haste, the cover says March, and I put February to date in here. But so be it. It should have been February, but I will just discuss February. It is year-to-date, and that brings 4B up to date as far as the activity that they've incurred for this fiscal period. But let's go back to the City of Prairie View's financial.
Say that one more time.
Oh, the 4B financial, the cover says through March 18th, but the financial is really through the month of February. In my haste, I picked up the wrong one, and it's through February year-to-date as opposed to March year-to-date. But I'll just discuss it as through February, and I will have the updated ones at the next council meeting. But like I say, this is a good year-to-date through February. If we go back to the City of Prairie View financial, it's on the red cover, page 1. You'll see that, excuse me, under the actual funds to date, we did $2.3 million versus a budget of $1.6 million, and that's favorable. Again, that's because of the early collection of property taxes. Expenses, we've incurred $1.6 million versus another $1.611 million. That's a little bit unfavorable, $57,000 there. And overall, you got a favorable budget at this time of $545,000. And again, that's because of the early collection of property taxes primarily. If you go to page 2 and look at your depositories, you'll see that under the column March, the total depository amount is $2,459,000. That's the total we have in our depository amount. The largest amount, again, is what's sitting in the General Obligation Bond Fund of $657,000. We do have in the tax department $840,000 at this time. I want to approach something tonight that I very seldom talk about, and I'm going to talk about it. Yes, sir.
Quick question. Why are we in March and not April?
Because I'm a month behind as far as processing goes. It's the timing.
Okay.
Timing, right.
So now you're in the process of calculating all the numbers for April for the.
Yeah, right. I'm in the process of getting April's data, and that'll be at the next meeting. Right. So I'm a month behind because of the timing of getting all the data. Okay. If we would, let's go to. I want to start discussing some where your assets are, because we did add some assets to the books this month. So if we go to page 11, and on there is the Public Works. In Public Works, we did add on the books this month the two F-150 pickup trucks. If you look midway under property and equipment, you'll see Ford F-150, $25,594.39. There's two of them at the same price. But this, I just want to kind of discuss this tonight because this is where your assets appear as far as these financials are concerned. And I want to bring that out. If you go over to page 28, and that's the fixed asset page for general administration, you'll see on page 28, for general administration, it's a little bit different from public works. General administration, your assets have to appear in a separate department, and that department is general fixed assets. They don't appear with your other activity in general administration. This is a governmental accounting requirement. And if you look at page 28, you'll see this month we've added the Tahoes that we bought, Tahoes 3, 4, and 5. You'll see they were $39,188, $39,188, and $36,345. And then also right under those Tahoes, you'll see the Ford Explorer, the administration vehicle that we purchased, is $29,399. And I just want to kind of bring this out because I very seldom talk about these sections in your financial, but this is where your assets are. And again, assets are those items that have a life history more than a year and cost basically more than $1,000. We do account for those in assets as opposed to expenses. If you go back to page 4, and on page 4, I just want to address Economic Development B. If you look at page 4, under general liabilities, the general fund says account payable Economic Development B, $89,895.18. Well, that's what's owed to Economic Development B at the end of March 31st, and we got with Miss Dickey to write a check to Economic Development B from the general fund to get it caught up.
Sales tax.
No, yeah, that's their sales tax amount because their sales taxes is collected by City of Prairie, and then Prairie has to distribute them to the different ones. And I bring that up because if you go over here and look at Economic Development B's financial on page 1, and again, I picked up February as opposed to March, but you'll see on Economic Development B's financial, under accounts receivables, you'll see accounts receivables, $80,428.19. Well, if this was March, that would be $89,891.18. So those two figures should agree. And they do agree. I just picked up the wrong one. That was another $9,000 plus that we did receive in March. And so this is why it's imperative that as we maintain the records, that we have all these reconciling situations that you have here, because you have a lot of activity between departments and between, in this case, between companies, City of Prairie View and Economic Development B. And the only reason why it's that much is that we doing the transition of different people having different responsibilities. That those checks didn't get written, but we're on top of it now. And like I say, we did get with Ms. Dickey a check, what should be, I don't know if y'all already wrote it or not, y'all already wrote it, and they'll be receiving that $80,000 plus, and then every month they will get their checks. Yes, sir.
How long of a period? So this came up to 89,000. How many months is that?
That was roughly December, January, February, and March. Mm-hmm.
We had also, I think we approved, council approved, that we were going to get accounts payable reconciliations. I haven't seen that in about 2 months.
Accounts payable?
Right, you're right.
Go back to your report.
You added it here?
Yeah, all the way back to page 34. Go to page 31. Page 31 shows everything that's paid. out of your general administration account. 31 and 32 shows all that was paid out of the general administration account. Then go to 33, that'll show what was paid out of the municipal court bank account. And then page 34 will show you what's paid out of public works account. Go ahead.
In these ledgers, when you do move funds from, is that usually when we're moving from one account to the other, there's an approval? Is it just because these are payroll, or can you explain to the body?
Okay, when you move funds, primarily the fund movement is every month we move funds for payroll, from public works to general administration, okay? And then the other primary movements that you have is when we move funds out of tax department, because it captures all of your property tax money, and that money is used to, you have to split it between M&O, which is operations, and debt service. So we'll move funds from tax department to debt service. And if you notice here, since you brought that up, let's go back over to general fund and look at page 4. You'll see due to debt service, $320,000, $215. Now if you come all over here to go to debt service and look at page, let's look at page 15. No, not 15, excuse me. 16, you'll see under the asset side, due from general fund, $320,000, the same amount. So that amount is due from general fund, it'll come out of tax department bank account, and we will be transferring that in this next accounting period to debt service. Because see, that's the money that's going to be needed to cover the large debt payment that's due in September. See, we have the largest debt payment is in September, as opposed to the one that we make in February and March. The one in February and March is primarily interest, but the one in September is both principal and interest on the bonds that we do have. And so that's why it's the largest one that we do make. And so those monies will be needed, and we will be transferring that money over to debt service. By the same token, if you want to look at another one, it'll be the amount sitting in crime control. If you look at crime control, let's see, crime control is escaping me now. Yeah, due from page 3, due from crime prevention, $67,172. We will be transferring that from crime prevention over to general fund. I make that point that the transfers we do are primarily between the due to and due from accounts. They're clearly stated on your financials that this money is owed to the other